Hello, my fellow comic collectors. This is the Price Variance Show, and we're going to be looking at two artists in two parts. Part one is on this channel, and we'll be finding out what Mark's pick of the week is. And my part will be on his channel, so you got to go over to his channel. The link will be in the description and at the end of this video. So definitely check out my part because it's me. and check it out on Mark's channel. So with all that let's get into it. Mark, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so my artist this week is Spanish. He was born in 1937, I think, something like that. When he was 6, his parents, it was the Spanish Civil War, and his parents emigrated to Mexico. So he grew up in Mexico. When he was 20, he'd always been interested in drawing. And when he was 20, he literally, with $20 in his pocket, unable to speak any English, went to New York, and he went to the offices of Mad magazine. You can probably guess who I'm talking about now.
There's a few artists that would. I was going to say Kreutzmann, but
No.
but.
but
because Mad, but I don't know.
Sergio Aragones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's obvious. Like Groo.
Yes, Groo. So I haven't actually got any issues of Mad magazine. It's actually one of the things I sold about 20 years ago. I
had his first appearance in Mad magazine. I have I collect Mad, so
I know you do. Yeah. So I'm going to be showing you mainly Groo. So I've loved Groo from when it first came out, and virtually all of these I purchased new when they first came out.
Me
so
too,
the first one is a really special comic. It's Destroyer Duck #1. So this is a really interesting comic, and there's a real bit of irony here. This comic was actually produced in order to raise funds for Steve Gerber, who was fighting a lawsuit against Marvel for the rights for the ownership of Howard the Duck. Okay, and all the artists who contributed to this, which includes Jack Kirby, did it for free. And Jack Kirby was actually working for an animation company at the time. One of the stories in here is the first ever Groo story by Sergio Aragones. And the reason it's ironic is this book, which was created in order to fight for creator rights, actually has got the first appearance of the longest running creator-owned character, Groo. So
I didn't know it was the longest running one, but
yeah,
sure.
40 years. He's been going 40 years. This was 1981. Sergio's still with us in his 80s, and he's still producing stuff, Groo stuff for Dark Horse.
Wow.
So 40 years and it's still going. Literally in the last few weeks, Groo has been optioned for an animation series for TV. Which will be great if they do it well.
It could be awesome.
Yeah. So this is and this I bought new when it first came out. Very special comic in my view. A bit of a historic comic, actually.
Yeah. Actually, just so you know, that one right there has recently become very hot. Like that Destroyer Duck.
Yeah.
And it's funny because just a little extra history on Destroyer Duck. Well, when he created Howard the Duck, there was copyright infringement suit between Marvel and Disney. And they had to go through a whole bunch of hoops in order to make Howard the Duck compliant. He had to wear clothes, he had to wear pants. That was the big thing. And his head had to be a certain shape. It was a whole bunch of hurdles that they had to go through just to get him accepted. And then, so it's kind of funny, ironic that later that there was this big, quarrel between Marvel and the creator. It's just like the irony is like leveled. But that book, I actually, when I first got back into collecting comics again, that was one of the first slabs that I got, was that book.
Yeah,
I love that book. That's a great book, and it's one that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe $20 you could pick up slabbed. Like I got a 9/6 slabbed for like $30. Yeah,
it'll be 300 now.
Yeah, I know. So it's like it was really under the radar for a long time. Still, you can still find it in dollar bins. So it's one that you can hunt for, and definitely a great book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. So that was actually produced by Eclipse. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Groo is famous for having switched publishers more often than most people have had hot dinners. So the first, do you know where? I bet you know this. Where was the second appearance of Groo? Because I think you've got this comic. I haven't got it
in Pacific Comics.
Yes.
Like Star Slayer, like
yes,
like 5 or 6,
4.
Okay, I knew it was in that area. Yeah, I was like, I had to think about it. But...
His third appearance is in Star Slayer 5. So I've actually just ordered Star Slayer 4 in order to get his second appearance. It was cost me $5 or something. Right. Okay. So his first solo series comes in Pacific Comics. So this is Groo the Wanderer #1 from Pacific. But of course, Pacific Comics went bust. And so actually the next comic, and I haven't got this one, I'm going to be looking it up to see if I can get it. There was actually a full Groo comic. It was a Groo special from Eclipse Comics, but there was only one, and then Eclipse Comics got into trouble and he had to move again.
Wow, he's not doing so well. Okay.
No, right. So next up, he appears. Marvel actually created Epic Comics, and one of the reasons they did it was because Sergio wanted to retain the rights to Groo, and so they did it through Epic Comics. So he moved to Marvel. I think it was 85. This one, and so this is Groo the Wanderer #1. Now, this series actually went on for 10 years. So it went from #1 to, I think, 120 was the final issue in 95. And the only reason it stopped was because Marvel were in financial trouble in the mid-90s, if you remember. They nearly went.
I remember that. Yeah.
And one of the titles that stopped was Groo. So this was almost the third company that Groo had destroyed. It's fantastic because Groo does destroy things by accident in the comic.
Yeah.
Sergio described Groo as having an IQ 3 lower than a boulder.
That's awesome.
So from the Marvel series, I've got a couple of other ones. This one's really nice. This is Groo's dog, Roberto. Yeah. Now, just to if you want to collect Groo keys, just a little bit of information for you. Roberto's first appearance is in Groo the Wanderer 29.
Okay.
So that might be worth looking out for, because Groo could get hot if we're going to get a TV series.
Yeah, and then all of his keys would be, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Roberto will be in the TV series if we get it.
Okay, cool. Actually, I have so far all those except for that dog one.
Okay. This is just #100. Just because it's #100. So that's Groo the Wanderer 100.
I always like those 100 ones, like the centennial ones are awesome.
Yeah. So that's nice. So as I said, Marvel got into financial trouble in 94, 95, and one of the casualties was Groo. So he jumped over almost immediately from Marvel to Image. Okay.
Mm.
So here we have Groo the Wanderer #1 from Image Comics. This ran for 12 issues, and then Image got in financial trouble. So I hope we're counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 publishers that have dropped Groo because they either went bust or got into financial trouble. So there are only 12 issues of the Image run. For some reason, I've got issue 3 here. It's quite a nice cover. Right, so where did he go then? In 1998, he went to his final home. Well, I suspect is going to be his final home, which is Dark Horse Comics. So this is Groo the Wanderer #1 again. This time with Dark Horse. This is from 1998, and he's still with Dark Horse. Has not got into enough financial trouble that he's had to drop Groo. This is not an ongoing series. Sergio's is well into his 80s, but they do occasionally produce a new Groo. So there's little mini series come out. This series ran for 4 issues. I think I've got all 4 of them. Number 2, number 3, and this is one of the recurring characters in Groo. This is the minstrel, and he only speaks in rhyming couplets. So quite a lot of Groo is actually written by a guy called Mark Evener, because when Sergio started Groo, he couldn't speak English very well. And so he worked with Mark Evener, who wrote a lot of this stuff. And Mark told him he'd got to stop putting the minstrel in because it was too difficult coming up with rhyming couplets for this minstrel character.
That's cool.
And then that was issue 4 from the Dark Horse 4 issue miniseries. So also worth looking out for is this one, which was produced in 2010, which reproduces. It was done for $1. It's called Dark Horse Comics 1 for 1. So it was $1, and it reproduced that first Groo from 1998. So you can tell the difference because it's got a red boundary on it. So, and as I said, Groo continues today. If you want some Groos, I found you can get them really, really cheap. The latest Groos. If you go, there's a website called Groo.com, which is run by Dark Horse, and they've currently got a sale on. All the comics that are usually $3.50 are $1. Wow! All the $10 books are $3.50. Wow. So I'm going to be ordering quite a lot.
Get the whole set, right?
Yeah, exactly. $30 you can get virtually all the latest Dark Horse Groos. Wow. Sergio worked for Mad magazine for ages, and when he first went to Mad and they took him on, the story is he didn't have anywhere to stay, so he used to sleep in the Mad offices.
I didn't realize he was that poor, but okay, wow, that's pretty bad.
Right, so he did some other stuff as well. This is one of my favourites, Sergio comics. This, if you haven't got this and you haven't read it, seek it out. It's really good fun. It's called Sergio Aragones Massacres Marvel.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I've never picked it up. Okay.
It's great. It's absolutely bad. I read it again today. I bought this from you when it first came out. But it's great. Sergio goes through virtually every major Marvel character and draws a sort of 3 or 4 page story with, the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, who he calls the cosmic whinger. He's got Galactus, it's a great fun story written by Mark Evener, but drawn by Sergio. He's got another one of these called Sergio Destroys DC on the similar sort of vein. So that's and I think, you know, we don't get, I was thinking about this, we just don't get that many what I would call fun comics. You know, we've got horror comics, we've got superhero comics, but how many, you know, comics are written like this that make you laugh, like Groo? We just seem to run out of them. Where have they gone?
I mean, I think he, you know, his artwork, just to look at it, you can't help but smile and laugh. It's just like, it's like really playful. I really love his stuff. Yeah, he's really great.
So there you go. That's my artist of the week, Sergio Aragones.
Very good pick. Very good pick, especially with the option news.
Yeah,
I really do hope that they do it. I really like. I'd love to see it as an animation series. That'd be so awesome.
Oh, if they do it well, it'd be really great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun. You know, it'd be fun. I always like the sort of barbarian, the clumsy barbarian. You know, I think it's kind of great.
Yeah, he is. His phrase when he does something wrong in the comics is "Did I err?" You know, when he accidentally destroys a town or kills the good prince. You know, that type of thing. And they've called the production company that's producing Groo "Did I err?"
There was actually, I just read an issue of Groo recently. And he's like, this town asks him to go fight some beast. Okay, so he goes off. And he's like, he fights this big beast, and he's like, oh, that was easy. And then it turns out that that's the baby of the actual beast. And then so the beast is even more upset that he killed the baby. So it just creates total havoc. It's
oh, I've got one more thing. I've got one more thing here from 1977.
Okay.
This is Groo, the trading card game.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
So, I mean, there were a load of, there was a sort of boom in these type of trading card games, you know, but I've got a Groo one, you know, there's the instruction list there, and then there's a load of different cards.
Oh, those are great. I never even heard of those. Yeah, that's really interesting.
You know, they got some, you know, that's the Wanderer card, and, you know, you've got different locations. Yeah, so there you go. Cool. Groo the Wanderer. I don't know how many people have ever heard of Groo the Wanderer, the card game.
I'm sure after this video, that's going to be the most popular card game ever.
If you can find it. I don't know if you'll find it.
Okay, well, thanks for that. And so thanks again, Mark, for coming on the channel. And check out part 2 on Mark's channel, and check out Mark's other videos because they're really great. I mean, you just did a big unboxing that I liked. And you do a lot of spec videos that I thought were pretty good.
Yeah,
so
my latest spec video has got nearly 400 views, which is 10 times what I normally get.
Good. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, whoa. I think whenever you say the word spec, it just automatically gets a whole bunch of clicks.
I think so. I think that's what did it. Because I've done those type of videos before, but I didn't use the word spec. Whereas I did use the word spec in the last one. And
yeah, I personally, my channel, I try to avoid spec. Like I try to just do what I do, but I probably should do a few spec videos just to get some views. But,
okay.
Okay, so thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
Bye.